Oh yeah. And also I want to say too, what's the day? The 18th, 19th. I was sick, so if I'm off by a day and you want to try to make a federal case out of that, go right ahead. But I also want to say too, in defense of and standing up, because I have the ability to draw attention to issues. Now, I've stood up for my black people. I've stood up, you know what I'm saying? And most definitely stood up for kids, and I always will stand up for kids to my last breath. Cause whether it's black, white, Spanish, Russian, Latin, Asian, Arab, whatever, doggone, from the islands, or whatever. Listen, the Caribbean. Listen, children are being abused everywhere. I can't fix the whole damn world. My ego's not that big to think, but I can certainly influence here in my country, my community, and thanks to the internet, that can spread to other places in the world. It's a different day now than when I was coming up. So I have to say this too, and stand up for Americans, legal immigrants, and for the white folks. I never thought I would stand up for white people because I'm very well aware of all the racism and the brutality of the past because I read, okay, and how they have tried again and again, and I notice the pattern too. Whenever it comes close to time to actually facing that reparations was never given to the black people the way it was promised, they always try to find a way to feint to the side to not actually have to, follow up on and follow through on that commitment, generation after generation. That's what they teach their people to do. Be very pro anti-racism, white patriarchy, and all the terms that sound great. But at the end of the day, the action is always the same: deny the reparations. While at the same time, they will even go so far as to allow people from other countries talking about they doing it. So for diversity. No, they did it so to avoid the reparations conversation. That's what we'll do to make ourselves feel better. Like we're doing something for black folks. That wasn't for black folks. Bringing in people from communities all over the world, talking about that's for diversity. No, that's to avoid the reparations conversation. We'll invite them in, and they'll be very grateful because we don't owe them anything. They'll owe us because we're taking them from their countries where they're being brutalized even worse. You know, and so we'll give them the upgrade over here. And that way we don't have to have the conversation with blacks about equal pay, about reparations, about all of the things put in place to hold black people back. And then we get to tell the foreigners, oh, they're lazy. Black folks are lazy. How do you figure that? 400 years of free labor, hard labor that built this country. And then another 60 years of being bred because they were desperate to keep the system in place any way they could, even when slavery was outlawed. So they bred them out of slaves they had. And they tried to hide that, all of the horrors of the sex farms, of the buck breakings, and that was nothing but, that was actual, not just slavery, but that was also abuse, slavery, abuse, brutalization, and denial of it. You better not say nothing. You better make sure my master's okay while we brutalize your people right in front of you, and you don't care. Do you know all those generations? And they expected that to be undone with a few, generations of okay, now you're not slaves anymore, but we will hold you back from everything. All the way until the 60s when they had to, have the civil rights battles, heads busted open, black, white, everything. That's why I have to stand up for the whites who stood up for us, because they did it not by word, by deed. They went out there. Some of them lost their lives. They fought in the Civil War to get us free, help get us free. We fought together, World War I, World War II, whether it was extremists, whether it was pacifists, whether it was, moderates or liberals or conservatives, all together, World War I, World War II, to save the world, and suffered in Vietnam, our ancestors. I remember Vietnam War because I was little when it was ending. I was there. I saw it on TV, black and white TV. I knew it was a war, far off place called Vietnam. I had no idea what it was about. None. Just that it was a war, and I didn't know why. I didn't know why. Why were they over there Fight and kill. I had no idea. And I didn't really care about it back then. I ain't gonna lie, I forgot about it. But I did look it up in detail later. That was a travesty. And always the American people, the citizens and all that, the legal immigrants who do the right things, they get the least out of it, and they're the first ones called on to get in the line of fire, to go and protect far places, while our homeland right here is unsafe. It's deliberate. It's deliberate. It's a plan. I know, I'm a planner. It's deliberate. It's a plan. Because they make sure their children are safe no matter what. The leaders who put these policies in place that make everybody else unsafe. Or water down education so your kids will never be. That's why poor kids these days talking about, I don't understand, I work hard but I can't get ahead. It's a plan. They watered down the fucking education. Told you be all you could be, but they give you less at the schools, take away from vital programs, fight charter schools and everything like that. While telling you be all you could be, but giving you less to do so. And knowing that kids, most kids are not going to apply themselves really hard like I did. Because that was the only thing I had control of was my, my schooling, reading, my education, and my goals, my accomplishments. So I applied myself really hard. Not all kids do that, Not all do it, And so now you got watered down education. How are you ever going to be a business owner or make big money when most of these kids graduate and barely know how to read, barely know basic science, basic math, but they spend all their time in there teaching them about things like gender studies and different, pronoun usage and all of that. And why? Because, they want to keep their minds on shit that keep them divided. And that's really, hey, that's personal. Whatever your sexuality is, that's personal. Everybody don't need to discuss that. Why is the whole country discussing people's sexuality? While the basic shit like safety, jobs, is falling apart and nobody's talking about that. It's brainwashing. You're being just like back in the day, they used to brainwash the black community to do that. Allow anything that goes in your black communities. We'll do anything there and anything as long as it doesn't touch or affect the white communities. You better not touch us because see, then you're wrong and then we come down on you quickly with no mercy. But it's okay that we enslaved you and that we brutalize you and that we hold you back and we tell you, the bullshit. Listen, all you got to do is work hard to get ahead. That's all. What do you want to be when you grow up? Stupid shit. I know about semantics. What that means is, what one of my businesses, what kind of worker bee do you want to be in one of my businesses when you grow up? Because we're not giving you enough education, providing enough for you, or providing enough. In fact, we're messing with the education and dumbing down all of the proven workable formulas that worked for generations in the past. We're dumbing them down to make it easy for all these people we're importing because we feel guilty about what we did to the black slaves and the people after slavery. We don't want to deal with that. So we imported all those people. Now we tell you, guess what? We can't deal with reparations because, see, those people we imported, when we said we were doing that to help diversity, to help you, but we weren't. Now they're complaining. They don't want you guys to get reparations. They said that's racist and that's discrimination. The people we imported so that we wouldn't have to honor our obligations to you. And we told them how lazy you are and we need those guys. And, when in fact it's just because we didn't want to pay you guys the same and we didn't want you guys to have the same benefits we have. We want you to be permanent servants or worker bees in our businesses. And when you didn't want that, you want your own businesses and you want to equal everything. Then we imported these folks who, that's how we do it. And we keep them, always divided and, find something else for them to keep their time occupied, whether it's transgenders, pronouns, or all this other stuff. And we hide all the damage that comes out of it, minimize it, hide it, like a fiery but peaceful protest bullshit like that. How can it be peaceful if this fire is burning? Stupid. Or Don Lemon telling the guy, oh, yeah, well, whatever background you're from, you can't tell me anything because you ain't black. Where did he learn that? Where did he learn that? In Germany? Or Russia? Or China or something? One of those totalitarian systems, oppressive. He damn sure didn't learn that in America or said he's speaking for all blacks. How? While he sits there in a cushy, air-conditioned studio disrespecting a man who's trying to talk about, American principles because the man is not black. So therefore, you can't talk about anything concerning black people. But his bosses talk about things concerning black people, and they're not black. Right, Don Lemon? And he's fine with that. Whatever policy they tell him to push. He even said he's tired of talking about race. But they keep pushing it. You don't speak for me, Don Lemon. Don't ever open your mouth, twist your stupid mouth, and say you speak for all black people. You're pampered, pet, house nigga. You know, he was one of the house niggas, right? Your ancestors. Felt you was better than the field niggas. You're not, and you don't speak for us. Do you think the house niggas spoke for the field niggas? Huh? You don't. Okay? You had your own experience. I had mine. You don't speak for me. You can speak to me about mine, and I'll speak to you and tell you all about yours if you want. You know, you're pampered, house pet, you know, house slave, boat mentality. And don't ever speak to, the way you spoke to that man, wow. You don't even sound like you're an American. You sound like you're some kind of Nazi SS Hitler fan. You know, that's how you operate, your operating system. It was disgusting. It was embarrassing to see a black person speak like that and then talk about you speaking for all black people. Miss me with your bullshit. You're disgusting. You're speaking for the system that's in place that you want to make sure stays like that. Shut up.